What is up, guys? Welcome on back to Auto Intel Daily. Now, I covered a little bit of this over on TK's Garage as well, but I know we have like a split audience. We have a ton of people over here that don't see what we do on TK's Garage, and we got guys over here that are guys over at TK's Garage that don't see what's going on over here. So anyways, California is the only state out of all 50 that didn't comply or is not complying with existing rules for the Department of Transportation. California has now played the game of FAFO, around and find out. And boy did they, because California Highway Patrol and the California Air Resource Board and the Bureau of Automotive Repair that do these roadside checks in California, yeah, they just got shut down. We kind of saw this was going to come when the California Air Resource Board recently put out some Mickey Mouse stuff about them doing enforcement via email, which is against the state's constitution and just blatantly illegal. You're citing people for stuff that somebody may have reported and you're going to send them a fine via email. Good luck with that in court. But yeah, that's what it's resulted to. Now, Shawn Duffy did do a full interview. I'm going to run that here and some local news, and then we're going to come back and discuss.
Transportation Secretary Shawn Duffy announced he is withholding $40 million in federal funding from California. The reason being the state has not complied with his rules requiring truck drivers be proficient in English. As the National News Desk, Jeff Harris reports, the announcement comes after Duffy warned California in September it had 30 days to comply or lose funding.
Last month, Duffy announced new rules for issuing commercial driver's licenses, including English language requirements for all truck drivers. The deadline to implement those rules just passed. Duffy saying California, the only state not to do so. In a social media post this week, Duffy announcing he's withholding $40 million in California funding for not implementing new English language requirements for all truckers.
All the states have complied, but one. That would be California. Gavin Newsom cares more about illegal migrants than he does about the safety of his citizens or the citizens around the country.
Duffy announcing these new rules amid the Trump administration's illegal immigration crackdown, but also after a series of recent fatal crashes, including this summer in Florida when an illegal migrant truck driver who had a California commercial license killed 3 people while trying to make a U-turn in a semi-truck.
These are the kind of risks that some of these drivers take when they don't understand the rules, they don't understand our culture, but they also don't understand, if a crash happens, how to communicate with law enforcement.
Duffy says since June, over 6,000 truck drivers have been pulled off the road for failing an English proficiency test.
Back, the state of California ignoring another federal mandate. The Transportation Department giving a 30-day deadline to the state back in August to comply with its rule requiring truck drivers to be proficient in English. California completely snubbing that rule. So now, exclusive tonight, the Transportation Department is announcing that it will withhold more than $40 million in federal funds from the state for its downright refusal to enforce this rule. Transportation Secretary Shawn Duffy joins me now to discuss. It is a pleasure to have you on the program, Secretary Duffy. Talk to me a little bit about why you're doing this. It is dangerous when the state does not comply with these rules for truckers, and it steals jobs from the American people. Those are 2 big ones.
Yes, first off, Jackie, it's great to be with you. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, this is really simple. It's a long-standing rule that hadn't been enforced by prior administrations, but to drive an 18-wheeler, a semi, a school bus, you have to speak English and you have to understand English. And you should be tested for this when you take your CDL exam. A lot of states weren't doing it. We sent out notices to all the states that they have to start to comply. All the states have complied, but one. That would be California. Gavin Newsom cares more about illegal migrants than he does about the safety of his citizens or the citizens around the country. And so we use what tools that we can. And we have $40 million of funding that goes to the state of California. And by the way, it goes for their highway patrol officers. And I support the highway patrol. Donald Trump supports the highway patrol. But Gavin Newsom supports illegals over his own highway patrol to keep the roads safe. And so because they haven't complied, we'll use the tools that we have to make sure we make California pay attention to basic safety regulations, which is English language behind the truck, behind the big wheels of these big rigs, And just real quick, Jackie, there have been so many semi crashes across the country that relate back to drivers who can't speak the language or they don't understand road signs minimally. Incredibly dangerous for anyone who drives on our roadways.
And so I have to ask you what the response is from the state and from people like Gavin Newsom. Obviously, they weren't taking this seriously. I think they'll probably look at it a little bit more seriously now. But who can make the justification that somebody should be driving a truck that doesn't speak English, can't communicate with law enforcement, can't read signs, and put people in danger? Who can justify that?
Well, I don't know. Gavin Newsom seems to think that he can. But again, it is these big 18-wheelers that we see on our roadways. But these are drivers who can drive your school bus as well. Take your kids to school that don't speak the language. And again, when they can't understand signs, we saw the infamous crash down in Florida where a truck driver was doing a U-turn on a 4-lane highway. That's insanity. But these are the kind of risks that some of these drivers take when they don't understand the rules, they don't understand our culture, but they also don't understand, if a crash happens, how to communicate with law enforcement. And so we're going to take all the actions we can in this administration to keep people safe. Again, Gavin Newsom may not care about safety, but I'm going to do all I can to make sure that I prevent the next cataclysmic accident that takes someone's life. And if that's taking money away from Gavin Newsom, that's exactly what we're going to do.
Okay, let's talk about deregulation. It's something that the president campaigned on in many different areas. You are doing that at the Department of Transportation, 157 deregulatory actions and saving $1.3 billion for taxpayers. Talk to me about how it works.
Sure. Off the top, first, we've stopped the DEI and the climate crazy policies from the last administration. It's moving projects faster and more cost effectively. That's number one. But simple things like speed limiters in big rigs was a safety issue for our semis. We had the ability of foreign manufacturers in the EV market able to come in and test their products, their new cars, their new technology in America, where American developers, American manufacturers didn't have the same right to produce those same vehicles in our country. We gave the benefit in the last administration to foreign competitors. We've taken those rules away as well. We've got rid of the California high-speed rail, saving billions of dollars. Here's what's on the horizon, a little foreshadowing, Jackie. We're going to save billions of dollars by getting rid of the fuel economy standards that are set way too high that no combustion engine can meet, costing each car to the tune of thousands of dollars for the end consumer. We're in the process of getting rid of those rules, bringing down the cost of a car, and again, saving the American family a lot of money when they purchase the new vehicle.
Fair enough. $1.3 billion. I will take it, and so will the taxpayers.
Just starting to, Jackie. They were just beginning.
Yeah. Secretary Duffy, let me also ask you about the shutdown, day 15. 13,000 air traffic controllers, they are working without pay. This is a clear case where the Democrats want to squeeze the Republicans to get what they want with their health care agenda by causing pain for government employees and also, in this specific instance, for the rest of the American people. How does this play out?
Well, listen, I don't know how long Democrats are going to keep us shut down, how long they want to fight for illegal immigrants' health care or funding for foreign entities, crazy funding for countries around the world. I don't know how long it's going to last, but I'll tell you this, our air traffic controllers, for the most part, are showing up. We have a few that are calling in sick, but I'll tell you this, I've talked to a lot of them, Jackie, they're angry at Chuck Schumer, that he would put illegals ahead of their paychecks makes them incredibly angry.
Yeah.
And so, I went through many of these shutdowns. Jackie, if you think back, in 2009, the government shut down while Republicans were trying to secure the border, build a wall per President Trump's campaign promise. Democrats wouldn't allow that to happen and the government shut down. So then under Joe Biden, we had millions of migrants come into the country. And now that they're in the country, Democrats want to provide them health care. Yeah. I don't know how a national party can work by fighting for people who are non-citizens, all the while abandoning the very people that can vote to put them in office. It doesn't make any sense to me, but I think there's going to be a substantial backlash. What I'm doing here at DOT, we have too many important things. Again, like we're trying to modernize our air traffic control system. I'm trying to bring more air traffic controllers into the system. I can't let this shutdown get us to deviate from the good work that we're doing, because 6 months from now, Jackie, everyone will forget the shutdown and they'll want to know where I was at, what progress I've made. We are going to continue to forge forward the best we can. even though Democrats are trying to get us off really important work on behalf of the American people.
Yeah, I think the American people see through it. The longer it goes on, the more the issues come to the surface. They realize also, Secretary Duffy, that this was something that was litigated in the big, beautiful bill. It was settled. And now the Democrats trying to go back on it and trying to change the rules on the Obamacare subsidies. We are out of time, but it always is a pleasure to have you.
So what does this really mean? Well, if you're a truck driver or have a diesel motorhome and happen to move around the state, you don't have to worry about getting pulled up on one of these roadside checkpoints. I know that they have some active today at the time of me recording this video, but they're not, the money that they have, they're not getting any more. So the DOT literally pulled $40 million. If they're not compliant again here in a couple of days, it'll be another 7 days. They're going to pull another 98 million, and then another 20-something million. Ends up being a little bit over 100 million that gets pulled, and that's when it starts to affect agencies like the California Highway Patrol, as California relies on the federal government and that income, that money that comes in to be able to pay their employees from their state. Yeah, not a good look if you're in California right now. But anyways, I thought this was interesting, something that you guys probably wanted to see, so here we are. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Give the video a big thumbs up if you like what I do. Be sure to hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. And as always, stay petty, my friends.